That's Big Mac here, and it's Monday, which means it's time for another hobby hangout. So we are live, and let's get into it. All right. Those of you that are new around here or haven't watched one of these replays before, we get everything set up. I got to share the links, give everyone a minute to get on board, and then we'll get going. So let me get this all shared. We'll go from there. Urgh. Dirt Hermit, what's happening, man? Burn Denali, hello. Happy Monday, everyone. Nindanka, how you doing? John Taylor, hello. My day is going all right. For a Monday, it's going all right. I had a couple of minor disasters, honestly, that I had to deal with, but all in all, not terrible. Where is this? Post dose. There we go. All right, Discord is lighting up with people talking about Valrax, so we should probably talk about that a little bit tonight once we get everybody going up on here. That here. Get my live stream. Oh, there we go. All right, got the chat up here. Whoa, Rectopus in Cambodia again. Hello, hello. All right, so let's set our. So we've been killing it with the goals on the chat. So we're gonna bump that a little bit and see how that goes. But I'm also gonna bump the timer. We'll be done before then, but we'll do that. Bingo. All right. No, come on. You should work. Why is this not working? Hold on a sec. I got a problem here in the super chat here. No, Dirt Hermit, you destroyed your shirt. We're gonna have to get you a new one. You could go for the full color version now. Although I still have the originals are still in the web store, and the originals sell against the oh, it looks like we're frozen. There we go. The originals they don't outsell the full color, but if you include the black ones, they do. So black plus original definitely outsells full color. But yeah. Okay. Oh, Burn Denali, 2 sets of ammo runs for your wife. Very nice. Yeah, we need to talk about ammo runs tonight for sure. K-Stav, cold and dark Maine, especially right now. What is it, like 1 in the morning out there? My man, what are you doing? No, wait, hold on. 11. It's 11 p.m. I can count. I'm not really an orc. Movie Bear sounds like you have the perfect garage yard work shirt, right? Legit some Big Mac in there. All right, let's try this goal again. Why is this not working? Man, I don't know what the dealio with the goal. Maybe if I go over here and try it. That's the thing with all of this new stuff we've got going on is I've got the camera, right? But then we've got the computer back here that's got like the chat and stuff going on it. But they're both logged into my YouTube account. So I don't know if that is part of some of the issues I have. No, it says it again. Why does it say it again? Huh. I am so confused with what is going on. Well, that's because we've done the super chat goal every time. And like now all of a sudden it doesn't wanna. Hmm. Come on now. Should do it. 10 of those. Do the maybe all the colors? Oh. Apparently we don't get a super chat goal tonight. It's fine. We'll spam for likes instead. Let's smash the like button and go from there. Okay, let's get talking about it on our hobby hangout, guys. So, first of all, this week, in case you guys did not see, Games Workshop announced that you can buy the original Captain Badrock along with the Grots. Let me get these pulled up here so that you know what I'm talking about while we're talking about them, because this is a really big deal, honestly, super big deal. Hey, there we go, Tiki the Hut with the memberships. That's what we'll do. Let's do some memberships. Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. Look at that. Casper Missing got the membership. Hey McFadden, how you doing? We are just getting ready to talk about good old Captain Badrock. Let's do let me get this pulled up and then we can perfect. Let's go. All right. Where is the share screen? That one. Boom. Give it a second. Your screen is going to go black, but then my mug is going to magically reappear along with the good Captain Badrock. Speedbox Tiki Wazabrew ready to go on a Crumpin' cruise. All right, Tiki, that sounds good. You go on an actual cruise? That'd be rad. YouTube wanted me to verify myself to make your link clickable, but absolutely will not load the software to activate. Oh, Dirt Hermit, I feel you, man. Some of this software stuff is really getting crazy. Oh, come on. Why are we not working here? Come on. Man, the software just ain't it tonight, is it? There we go. There we go. Okay, I see it up on the screen now. Okay, here we go. Captain Badrock on the made to order. Now, this is huge. Not so much that we're getting Badrock on a made to order or that it means anything about getting a new Captain Badrock or anything like that. The huge part about this is Captain Badrock was changed from the original metal mold to fine cast resin. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with how the whole casting process works, the molds for these guys, when they are metal, are made a certain way. You kind of have this big rubber disc, essentially. The mold is cut into it, and when they make it, it's spin cast. So the whole disc actually spins in a circle, and the metal uses centrifugal force to kind of, the liquid metal as you pour it in, to kind of get in every nook and cranny, right? So there's actually not that many sprue trees on a metal mini. When they converted these molds to fine cast, what they did is they actually cut the rubber molds up and made a gravity feed mold out of them. And they had to cut a bunch of different sprue gates in order to pour the resin in and have the air come out. This is the first model that I have been able to find that Games Workshop successfully undid it from resin back to metal. Now, I don't know how they managed to do that. I don't know if they refilled all the sprue gates. I don't know if they actually had more than one mold of the original Captain Badrock. I'm not sure how, but I'm very excited that they did it because I'm sure I don't have to explain to those of you that have ever handled one. But if you've never handled one, fine cast resin is terrible. I have nothing against resin. Obviously, I've got 3D printed models. I've got resin models from other manufacturers. I've had forge ruled resin. There's definitely good resin and bad resin, just like there's good metal and good plastic and bad plastic. Scale model builders will know the good plastic, bad plastic. Tamiya, good plastic. AMT, bad plastic, right? There's definitely quality differences. So it's not like resin bad. It's fine cast resin is bad. Not just like the way they did the molds, because again, these molds were not designed to be gravity fed, but also um, the resin itself. It's just not a good resin for what they used it for. Right? They tried to like capture details with it, but the problem was is that the mixture that it was just not good. When you it left a texture on everything. You never really got any smooth areas. There was always a texture, always air bubbles, always pinholes. Um, but also it was really, really not very sturdy and would kind of explode. There's a reason why it's called a fail cast. Okay, let's just go with that. But Bad Ruck here, who was fine cast, is being made to order in metal. So I actually got one of them because the Bad Ruck that I had last was fine cast. He is long since gone. I don't actually have a Bad Ruck in my collection right now. So I was like, you know what? The fact that they converted him back to metal, I want to like boost that. I want to show that like, hey, that's a good business decision. So I went ahead and ordered one of him. Oh man, chat's going crazy. I need to catch up with you guys. Commander HHL, welcome to the Mech Boys. Thank you for joining the channel. Much appreciated. Hey, so for those of you guys that do not know yet, if you are a YouTube channel member, you also get access to our members only section on Discord. So just DM me on Discord. Let me know your username on the YouTubes and on Discord. I will connect the accounts, and then you'll be able to get into our behind the scenes section, which we had some very, very, very gigantic news there this week, which is also shared with our patrons. So if you are either on Patreon or on our Discord server on the members only channel, you know the great big gigantic thing that happened this week in the background for the channel. And what's going to happen in the future. If you want to know what that stuff is, I highly suggest you join the Patreon or the YouTube membership, and then you can come on over to the Discord, and then you too can get caught up on all the fun stuff going on behind the scenes. Okay, I'm going to address the chat here real quick before we get back into Bad Rock, because I saw JoJo M1 just posted up. And this is a question I've been getting a lot this week. Starting orc player here, just got the Rekka Crew kill team. What other kit do you need to make to build all variants? I did a couple of videos on this. And if one of you guys can actually link it to him in the chat, I'd super appreciate it. It's hard to link things um, while you're doing the live stream. But essentially, the old boys kit, which is the kit that has 11 models in it, is your answer. First of all, you need 6 bodies, okay, which is a hard number to come up with. But also, regular Rekka Crew boys are the same size as regular boys. They are not giant. And the arms actually go on super nice and easy. And you can make yourself those 6 bodies out of that old boys kit. Use all of the arms and bits and whatnot from the Rekka Crew, and you will be able to build yourself both the Tank Bustas and the Breaka Boys. I would suggest, I've done it both ways. It was easier to convert the Breaka Boys out of the old boys, just because there were quite a few arms that were separate instead of like 2 arms on a thing. But that being said, both ways were relatively easy. All you're really doing is a little bit of sanding or trimming and some gluing. Maybe use some sprue goo if you really want to get those joints nice. Cover some things up with some armor panels, and you're good to go. So that's what you want. That will leave you 5 bodies left over. Now, back in the day when I made that video, what I said was go ahead and buy the Luda kit, because the Luda kit gives you everything you need to build 5 Ludas and 5 Burnas, except for you only get 5 bodies. Well, hey, what do you have left over from that old boys kit? 5 bodies, so that you can make Ludas and Burnas. The thing is, I am pretty convinced that Ludas and Burnas are actually going to be relaunched as a new kill team, and they're going to be a double set like the Rekka Crew, and they're probably going up to 6 models. Don't take your Ludas and Burnas that you already own and throw them out by any means. It's super easy to add a model to your squad. But also, like, I don't know that if you don't already have them, if you should go out and like try to build them at this point, knowing that we are likely months away from getting new versions of them. But that's entirely on you. Personally, I still have, I think, two or three squads of Ludas and a squad or two of Burnas. And I have no problem kit bashing a couple of knobs or whatever I need to make their size the six or whatever is needed to get them up to snuff. And in fact, if and when that time comes, fully expect a video from me on how to do that. So yeah, I suppose you're probably just fine doing the Ludas and Burnas. All right. Yes, and that was from before I broke my arm. All righty. Yeah, yeah. So random login name, by the way, has yeah, kind of like the better recommendation, which is the when you do the Breaker Boys, they have this big shoulder pad armor piece thing that goes over their back that totally hides that join. So if you're brand new to kit bashing or you're not real sure about, your abilities or whatnot, it just hides it. Just totally hides it. So it makes it really super duper easy to kit bash the Breaker Boys by having that piece. So yeah. Hey, Larry Smith, welcome to the Mech Boys. Appreciate it. Man, look at that. That is one gift membership and two new memberships already. You guys are rocking it. See, we didn't need that goal at all. All we needed was members. You guys are awesome. Again, all of you new members, make sure you are on our Discord. The Discord, of course, is always free. But what you want to do is shoot me a DM over on Discord so that you can learn the news about that. Once you learn the news, you'll know why I'm always like doing this and kind of being on the DL about it because we are waiting for something to happen that we have already applied. So yeah, again, if you are a channel member uh, or a patron, shoot me a DM over on Discord to get in the members only section. Okay, back to Badrock. So we've covered Badrock. Badrock is coming back in metal, which is huge. Like I cannot say enough how huge it is that Badrock is back in metal. But even bigger, honestly, is this the made to order ammo runs. Now, for those of you guys that are unfamiliar, don't know who these runs were only available in one box that was a multi kit box. Kind of think of it as like a start collecting like pre-combat patrol before combat patrol was a thing. What you got in the box, it was called Captain Badrock's Flash Gits. You got Captain Badrock, obviously. You got a squad of Flash Gits, the five great big knob-bodied guys with their crazy snaz guns. And then you got these grots right here who are the ammo runs. Now, obviously, later on, Flash Gits came out on their own. Badrock was always available on his own, but these guys never came back. And as you see, these are not your normal grots, as cool as normal grots are. These guys are pirate grots, and they are certified awesome. First of all, you got the captain grot there on the bottom right. He's got a peg leg, he's got a sword, he's got a pistol, he's got the hat, like cutest little hat with this little feather, right? He is amazing. Like, what better start do you need for your own special character grot to lead your the revolution? If the Red Gobbo is not your thing, Pirate Grot has got to be it. This guy is just amazing. All right. Now, to his or to the left of the screen from him, you've got two ammo grots carrying three ammo cases. And again, the one in the back has like a tricorn style hat, very piratey. In between them, you've got the one on the pole with the looking glass. So there is your lookout grot. He's in a pile of bullets on this, but I mean, come on, if you're building, a battle wagon or something cool like that, or a Stampa, putting him out on the top would be amazing, right? Like he is so stinking cool. I love him to death. Oh, Dirt Hermit said it'd be nice if YouTube would stop dropping ads in the live streams. That's probably a setting I can change. Let me see if that's something I can do. Dirt Hermit, I think there's a setting I can change. I promise you I will work on changing it before the live stream next week because I'm with you. Ads in the middle of the stream are annoying AF. So let's see if we can cut that off. Especially since you guys are doing channel memberships, we don't need the ads, right? Okay, but yeah, back to the grots. We got the grot on the flag. Above him and to the left is another grot in a tricorn hat with a treasure chest. To the right of him is one carrying the bombs with another hat, and then above him on the right is two more grots carrying the big ammo chest. Now, these guys are all metal. They are all made to order. They are not that terrible of a price, to be honest with you. I actually ordered 3 sets of these, one for myself to keep, and then 2 sets to have around so that in the future, if there was somebody who really, 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 really wanted these and missed out on the made to order, I'd be able to, pass along the savings it cost so that they would be able to get their hands on it. But this is a huge anti scalping move by Games Workshop because, again, as I said, these guys only came out in that one box. And in that one box, that was super duper limited just because it wasn't a very popular box. Well, I want to say that. It was a popular box when it came out. Warhammer was not very popular when it came out. This was in the middle of 6th or 7th edition when 40K was at its absolute bottom. So while they made a lot of boxes for the time, that's like no boxes compared to the amount of people that are in 40K or back in 40K today. So if you ever found these guys, and trust me, I've been watching them on eBay for years, it was like $150 minimum for the whole set. A sealed box of the Captain Badruck's flash kits with them in there and the whole nine was closer to 250 all day, every day. So for Games Workshop to print these guys out as many as you want at the 40 something dollars a piece is just insanely good value. So yeah, let's see. Random login says, wish you'd gotten more. You only got one box. Hey, you can still order more. They are available to order until right here, 8 a.m. on March 9th. Today is the 2nd. So you've got literally 7 more days to order these guys. You could totally order another set. Anybody that hasn't gotten them, if you want to get them, go ahead and get them. Again, they're just fun sculpts. Even if you never use them in your army as like actual figures, if you pepper these guys around your Stampa or your battle wagon, or just like have them on their bases, floating around as counters or just being cool, they have so much flavor. They are so stinking cool. But yeah, I did get 2 spare sets so that if in the future somebody really, really wanted them and wasn't able to get them, I do have 2 spares. Oh man, Long Roger, I am so sorry to hear about your kitchen fire. But yeah, painting Warhammer is excellent for hand strength. In case you didn't know, I broke my wrist, shattered it into 3 pieces. Had 3 surgeries where they put titanium rods inside me. Just got those out about 3 weeks ago now. And yeah, working on getting my dexterity back, my range of motion, all that stuff. I played guitar for about 15 minutes tonight. My hand was hurting so bad. I had to ice it for like an hour before doing this live stream. So yeah, I definitely feel the hand strength problems. McFadden ads always happen when you respond to your posts. Okay. All right. I promise you guys, I will get rid of the ads. I will figure out some way of turning that off before the next live stream. And Commander HHL already threw in $2 for the No Ads Foundation. I appreciate it. And that goes so stinking far. The thing with the ads is, YouTube pushes your videos the more ads, they can show. So you don't want to turn off too many of them because then they stop pushing your channel, right? And your algorithm pickup goes to nothing. So yeah, you gotta tread this line. But mid-roll in a live stream is terrible. If they want to do one before or one after, or put it in the live stream, once it's posted and not actually live, that's okay. But live, we gotta turn that off. Then light the mine shaft on fire. So yeah. So guys, again, these grots are not to pick up as like grots for your grot squads. These grots are not to pick up, for anything like that. This is purely because you really, really, really love them, and you want to pepper them throughout your army. Um, Commander, dude, Valrak scams everybody. We're gonna talk about him next. We're gonna talk about him next. Yeah, you tune in, Dak. We're gonna get there. Let me finish talking about the Grots. So yeah, these guys right here, they're available for 7 more days. You got plenty of time to get them. But you go to the order now button. See, it should switch tabs with us. There it is. Ammo runs 43.50 in the US. I know that sounds like a lot for, essentially 6 little metal models. But first of all, remember everything is crazy expensive compared to what it used to be. So if you're a graybeard like me, and you remember the last millennium, you could take whatever today's prices are, divide it by 2, and that's essentially what the money is. So yeah, being essentially a little less than 22 bucks, not bad at all. But also the second thing is, again, these guys sell for 150 to $250 all the time. If you could find them. If I want to say I could probably count on my 2 hands how many full, complete, unbuilt sets of these guys I have seen in the last 5 years. Okay. So um sticking it to the scalpers, sticking it to the people trying to screw you over on eBay or whatever, and selling these dudes at 43 bucks is honestly a power move. Again, I personally bought 3 of them. I got one for myself. I got 2 spares that again I will not sell for a penny more than 43.50. If anybody really, really, really like wants them later on and did not pick them up. But for right now, y'all got 7 more days left to order these guys. So if you want some pirate grots in your collection, make sure you pick them up. We'll stop sharing that. Welch has premium, so no ads. Ooh, nice. I've heard that premium is worth it just for what you said about the screen. What happens is you could load something up like this live stream and then turn off your phone's screen, so it's blank. But the YouTube keeps playing because of the whatever they do to the premium. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, well, HR Welch, if you want those grots, man, I would pick them up. I really would. It's worthwhile at that price, honestly, to add them to your collection. They're so flavorful. They're so flavorful. They're just so stinking good. All right. Now let's talk about Valrak, the scammer, and his prediction. All right. For those of you who don't know who he is, Chapter Master Valrek is one of the biggest YouTube channels on 40K. He's actually a really cool guy. I like listening to his stuff. He's off of his rocker the best way. He reminds me of one of my cousins that I learned to play 40K with. So kind of just imagine that it's him and it makes me laugh. But um, the long and the short of it is he does all of these rumor videos and things, and some of his stuff is kind of out there, but his hit rate is insane. He's like over 90% correct. And when I say over, within like 10th edition, he's been closer to like 99% correct. I think there's only like 2 things left that we're literally waiting on coming out. But I mean, he's called stuff like, you remember the Stompa box that came out that had the new Big Mech, the Truck Boys, I think it was the Ludas and the Stompa. And it was like, yeah, the orcs are going to get a battle force with a Stompa. And everybody was like, you are so full of it. Like, Games Workshop is not going to put a Titanic unit in a battle force box. That is the stupidest thing ever. What happened? We got a battle force box with a Big Mech, some Truck Boys, some Lunas, and a Stompa. The dude called it. So whenever Valrak says something, even though he always says that rumors are lies, take it with a grain of salt, all that stuff, which I appreciate, you kind of gotta not take it with a grain of salt. So what he has said, first of all, 11th edition is coming. I think we all know that. We're clearly in an end time narrative campaign that only happens right before an edition change. Also, it's been 3 years since 10th edition dropped. All of the codexes for 10th edition are done. The rules for 10th edition are awful. And I don't even mean that like in my opinionated way of they're awful, because they are. I mean that in the, if you go buy the 10th edition starter set right now and get a rule book, literally every single rule in it is no longer valid. You have to go to the Warhammer community website, download 6 different PDFs in order to get all the different rules to play 10th and a half edition. That's how much the rulebook has changed. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not exaggerating. 100% Gork's honest truth. That is the way it is. So clearly 11th edition is on its way, right? So if Alex says 11th edition is coming, we can see for everything else 11th edition is coming. He said that 11th edition, the launch box and the factions that are going to be in the starter sets are Space Marines versus Orcs. Space Marines, we know is right. Every single box has been Space Marines. Duh. Orcs makes a ton of sense. First of all, we did not get a very extensive refresh the last edition. Um, Second of all, there's certain factions that just GW will not put in the main launch box because of confusion. And they actually talk about this in their annual reports with things like Horus Heresy. When Horus Heresy came out, people didn't know what to make of it. And so when they relaunched it, even though the boxes, the big battle forces and launch boxes and stuff came with two complete armies, the box art showed all of them painted one paint scheme. And the reason for that was people got confused. When I say people, I mean like, your aunties and your uncles and stuff like that. They went into the Games Workshop store to buy you something because little Timmy said, "Hey, I want, Age of Darkness for my birthday." They go in there and they look at this box and they go, "Well, these guys are exactly the same, but these dudes are red and these dudes are blue. Why are they fighting each other? This doesn't make any sense." And they would buy something else, right? So Games Workshop knows that if the two factions are too similar looking, it honestly hurts sales. So I'm not saying like Chaos Space Marines ruled out, but like anything that's Space Marine on Space Marine, or like too loyalist looking of a Chaos or too chaotic looking of a regular Space Marine. Leagues of Votan are a little too Space Marine looking. And then also, they're not going to do anything that is a little too risque. You're never going to see Night Lords with, somebody's skin hanging off of them in a launch box. You're never going to see Dark Eldar, or at least, not like Witch Coven and stuff like that, Dark Eldar in a launch box again. Even like Necrons. When Necrons were in the launch box, you didn't get flayed ones. There were no flayed ones in there, right? Not that they're not going to make it, not that they're not going to sell it, but again, these launch boxes, they have found launch boxes and starter sets, they sell more to people outside of the hobby than in the hobby. And so they need to make it retail friendly enough. Okay. So you need that differentiation and you need to be not too crazy, scary, offbeat. So you got armored space marine guys, right? The heroic humans versus some big green scary orcs. Super on point, right? So yeah, it's going to be orcs. But again, Valrek has said that, "Hey, McFadden, thank you for that. We're going to get a single printable doc that updates the 10th edition print rules, or will there be 5 flavors of useless when they're at moves to 11th?" Oh, okay. So if we had reached our super chat goal, which we weren't able to do, I was going to do unhinged 40K takes. This honestly was going to be one of my unhinged 40K takes. 11th edition is not a hard reset edition. All of the codices are going to still be valid. Most of the rules are going to be unchanged. When I say most of the rules, I mean the rules that are actually in the 5 different PDFs now, not the rules in the rulebook. Obviously, again, the rulebook's dead. What we have heard is going to change, and again, one of these rumors is from Valrak, which I actually really like this one. The battlefield is going to change. L-shaped runes and standardized build-outs with 5 objective markers are dead, which would be the best thing ever to happen to this stinking edition, because that is what I think has truly ruined the game more than almost everything. If you've ever played other editions of 40K where you actually set up the terrain in a thematic way, where you use a bunch of different types of terrain instead of just L-shaped runes, the games are so much more immersive, so much more fun, and honestly, so much more challenging. The other thing he said about it is that instead of the objective markers being like a literal like point with a circle around it that like you just got to stand within the circle, Games Workshop is actually making physical terrain objective markers. So there is something to fight for. Now, this is something I have personally done. Every single one of my armies, I have made objective markers to go on the objective spots that have something on there that that army would actually want. My orcs have a bunch of really cool scrap pieces. There's like a, a war bike and like a big Dakagun and a whole bunch of bullets, right? Stuff like that. And so that I've got these 5 different objective markers for my orcs that are things that would make sense that they would go fight over and like try to keep hold of, right? My Imperial Guard, I've got the captain or lieutenant, whatever he is, the pilot guy from Assault on the Crag. the or Battle for McCracken. Battle for McCracken, the fourth edition launch box. There's the little Imperial pilot guy. I've got him as one of the objectives. And then the little shield thingies that came in that box also made excellent objectives. So right, having these objectives just makes so much more of a thematic sense. So the fact that GW is talking about going to this sounds amazing. So yeah, I really do think the rules are going to change. I do think that the rules are going to be a lot more streamlined. I have heard that the number of modifications are going to go down because that's kind of one of the big time sinks about 40K right now. You're like, okay, here's my stat block, right? My thing is a 3+, but I gave him this enhancement that makes him a 2+, and then you're like, oh, but you're like my army rule makes him back to a 3+, and you're like, oh well, I'm going to do this stratagem that makes him back to a 2+. It's just this back and forth to modify the same damn stat, and at the end of the day, like, what are you doing? Just who cares? Like, honestly, just make the stat and leave it alone. So trying to really get rid of that and make the thematics more of a getting extra shots versus modifying the shots, right? You're going to get the same result, right? The result is this unit should hit a little harder, should kill a little more when this thing happens, right? You could do that with more shots instead of modifying things like crazy. But yeah, so apparently it's going to be terrain. Um, I am super on board with this. GW makes the best terrain on the market, period, the end, bar none. MDF terrain does not do it for me. Cardboard terrain does not do it for me. Um, all these weird, like, tournament legal pop-up building things they just look like board games. That's not why I play 40K. I play 40K because I want an immersive narrative style board. I want really cool stuff to fight over. I want my battlefield to look like a picture in a codex. That's what I want. And Games Workshop terrain does that in spades. Their terrain, while expensive, again, everything's expensive. For what you get, most of their terrain sets are really, really good. And also, their terrain does not lose value. Forget collecting Warhammer models and like having them like still be worth something, years down the road. The terrain is always worth something. It is crazy the kind of secondhand prices. Most of the really good terrain is worth more used than it was new. Go try to buy some Octarius Orc terrain right now. What is that going for? Hopefully, I've heard a rumor. The Actarius train is actually coming back in the Ultimate Starter set for 11th edition, which would be amazing because that fort is the business. I love that thing. So yeah, if we could get that back at a reasonable price, that would be amazing. But yeah, just thematic terrain is where it's at. And so having objective markers be terrain would be amazing. And again, you don't have to use official stuff. Like again, I've already kit bashed objective markers for every single one of my armies. It's like one of the first things I do is I like come up with my own in-head lore of what my army is, what their background is, who their leader is, like what their objectives are. I make my own objective markers, and it's like, oh, sweet. Like this is, my orcs are very scrap centric. So all of their objective markers being scrap makes a lot of sense, right? So when I do my new beacon army right here, my sneaky beakies, right? I've got some cool older Imperial like sensors and things from other kits from way back in older editions. I like to think of it for those of you that are like super into the lore, right? You know what an STC is, right? The standard template construct. Those are the hollow disk things that the Adeptus Mechanicus are always trying to get at because it tells them how to build old technology that they can't build anymore, right? So having things that are like STC constructs or older versions of things that my sneaky beakies would really be after makes a lot of sense. So they're essentially like orcs going for scrap. They're just beakies going for, Windows 95 scrap instead of whatever this AI garbage they have now is, right? So yeah, that's the kind of thing that is going on. So I think those are all really good things. Those are my hot takes about 11th and the terrain. Now, back to Valrak. Wow, we really got off on a tangent there. And I do not have any red squig. Nobody loot the place. I'm going to go get some red squig. I see you trying to loot the place. Dirty, dirty death skulls. Okay, so back to the Valrak comments. For those of you that didn't see it, Valrak was either today or yesterday, released a video, and one of the rumors he talked about was that Kill Team, the new edition of Kill Team coming out, one of the kill teams was going to be orcs in mega armor, mega knobs. This is the first Valrak rumor that I really don't buy, and here's why. I'm not a kill team player. Okay, take all of this with a grain of salt. I'm not an expert in it. I'm not claiming to be an expert in it. But in the games of Kill Team that I have watched, both online and in person, in the Kill Team rules that I own and have read, in the Kill Team games that I have tried myself, Kill Team plays very differently. That you go, I go activation of one operative at a time means that the more operatives you have, usually the better your kill team is. And the way kill team is built is around being able to move around the board and control more of it and do more things, right? And that's how you're trying to outmaneuver your opponent. It's great fun. I actually really like the way it plays. It might be one of their best games, like play wise, like no lie. The smaller your kill team is, granted, they're more elite guys, they're harder to kill, but the less things you can do, the less things you can react to, the more you're behind the eight ball. That's why your kill teams are traditionally 10 bodies. Even if you don't get to use all 10 of them in your particular kill team all the time, like they give you those options so that you can if you want to. The smaller kill teams honestly really struggle. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, isn't like the Rekka Crew's a kill team right now, right? Like that's Tank Busters and Breaka Boys. That's only 6 bodies. It's a knob and 5 bodies and 2 bomb squigs and a grot. Remember that in Kill Team, the bomb squigs and the grot can actually do things. They are part and parcel of the kill team, just like in the commandos, the grot and the bomb squig were something in there too. They weren't just these like token pieces in 40k. So yeah, that's the way that it works. So when you think about that, the smallest kill teams at this point are either 5 or 6 bodies. I think the Death Watch one might be the smallest. I think that one gets down to 5. But most of the kill teams are, 6, 7, 10 bodies. And that's the way the game is written. That's the ideal right size. The new kill team that is the stealth suits is a smaller kill team. In fact, you know what? We should pull this up while we talk about it. Let's see, suit kill team, because I am honestly not entirely sure how many are in there. Kill team XV26 battle suits. Okay, here we go. Let me share that screen now so that we could talk about that and be informed. I was like going to the horse's mouth. I feel like an idiot sometimes when it's like, well, I'm talking about this thing when I could just pull it up. Okay, so here is the kill team XV26 stealth suits. There are 5 stealth suits, okay, which is a small number of kill team. That is small. But you'll notice there are also 2 drones. One of the drones is a gun drone, one is a command drone. I think you can build the drones as different things, but the drones actually do something in kill team. The other thing is, you'll notice the beacon thing. I know that in the kill team rules, the stealth suits can teleport, because one of the hard parts with kill team is getting your operative where it needs to be. So by being smaller, their ability to jump around and get somewhere they need to be like quicker, or like by getting around somebody, is definitely a huge bonus and a huge boon. Now, 5 stealth suits and 2 drones and the ability to jump are way different than 3 giant chunky mega knobs with no teleporter ability that barely walk, right? Like that is a huge, huge difference. So we're not getting Mega Knobs as a kill team. I'm not saying Mega Knobs aren't coming. I'm not saying orcs aren't going to get a new kill team. I'm saying them being the same thing, unless they truly change how kill team works on a fundamental level, um, it's not happening. Three is just way too small of bodies, and I know like they might give them a distraction grot and an ammo grot and a bomb squig and stuff like that. It's still not enough, and the mega knobs themselves are so slow. There's no way they're going to give them fast speed on the battlefield. There's no way they're going to allow them to jump around. There's no way that they're going to let them like teleport and stuff. It's just not going to work out. So yeah, there's no way it's happening, man. Ah, Red Squig water bottle at the website, by the way. So yeah, that's the rumor. Now, again, I'm not saying we're not going to get new Mega Knobs, although honestly, I don't think we're getting new Mega Knobs. Those of you that have watched my prediction videos, we take really, really, really deep dives into Dawn of War 4 and the Total War Warhammer 40K, and both of them show Mega Knobs fully detailed in the current style. And Games Workshop is not going to replace, like, if they've got something on deck ready to come out, they're not going to make these giant studios waste a ton of money putting these digital assets together to look like an old kit. That's just not how it happens. So, yeah, even if we are getting Mega Knobs, it is not coming in the launch box. It is not coming on the initial release. They are far, 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 far in the future. So that's my take on Valrak the scammer and his unhinged take this week. All right, guys. What other questions you got in the chat here? We've talked about Badruck. We've talked about the Grots, the made to order Grots. We've talked about 11th edition launch. We've talked about Mega Knobs and Kill Team. So what else are we getting on tonight before we got to end the live stream? Storm Boys Kill Team. Honestly, Commander HHL, I think that is a far more likely possibility than Mega Knobs. Storm Boys makes a lot of sense. They've already done a couple of kill teams that are guys with jump packs. I love this current Storm Boy sculpt, but I get it. They're getting kind of old. There's only 5 of them in the box. If the Storm Boys went to a squad of 6, I don't think anybody would complain, especially if you got like newer kind of multi-posier kits. Nothing wrong with that at all. So yeah, that would be super duper rad. I could totally see that coming. I still think though it's going to be Ludas and Burnas. Just saying. Let's see. Real CJ says I don't think there'll be room for a Grot kill team until next edition reset of Kill Team. I'm hearing from more than just Valrak. I'm hearing that Kill Team is getting tied into 40K instead of being its own super separate game system. And the reason for that is, again, if you read the Games Workshop annual reports on their stocks, they've said that they have a core 4. So that would be 40K, Age of Sigmar, the Old World, and Horus Heresy. And essentially what they're doing is every year, one of those core 4 is going to get relaunched, right? So you're going to get a new 40K, and then 4 years later, you're going to get a new 40K. You're going to get, a new Age of Sigmar. 4 years later, you're going to get a new Age of Sigmar, et cetera, et cetera. They haven't spelled it out exactly like it's going to be 4 years, but that's what they're saying is every year there will be at least one of those relaunching. Surprisingly, Kill Team wasn't in there, and that really confused me because Kill Team, honestly, has been one of their absolute biggest sellers. It's been huge, but then you walk into a Warhammer corporate store these days, and there's like nothing Kill Team on the shelves anymore. If you're lucky, they'll have that current starter box with the pop-up terrain that has the old push fit Warhammer Heroes guys in it, the Death Guard versus Space Marines, and that's it. Like there's no real like Kill Team stock anywhere. There's not a whole lot going on. They're not announcing any launch boxes. All of their narrative things have totally fizzled. But all of the new combat patrols that they're announcing have kill teams in them. And so it's looking increasingly like they've finally decided to take all the rules and bring them together and make Kill Team, Combat Patrol, and 40K all one thing, just at different scales, and actually have it work. And so Kill Team is getting rolled into 40K. So it's going to be Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team instead of just Kill Team. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. So new edition of Kill Team would honestly be along with new edition of 40K when we get 11th edition later this summer. Let's see. Morphatron says new Meganob kit, but the same style, much like the way Firstborn Space Marine kits evolved. Yeah, so the problem with the Mega Knobs, one, the weapons that come in them have changed. Meaning, back when they first came out, like a combi Scorcha was different than a combi rocket launcher. Now they are all just combi weapons. So you have all these customizable greebly bits to glue on there that don't do anything anymore. And then a lot of the hand weapons have changed. There was like a power stabba was a thing, and stuff like that. Now it's just power claw or the saw, and that's it. So they really need to like change up all the weapons on it. The other thing is their size. They're really, really, really short and kind of squat and kind of not great looking. If you look at the new, it came out 2019 or 2020, the War Boss and Mega Armor from the last Combat Patrol, he's amazing. 10 out of 10, no notes. Fantastic sculpt. He is super dynamic, super awesome looking, but still super chunky armored. That's really what they should look like. So everyone's kind of clamoring and waiting for that to come out. All right, let's see. Who else has really great questions? McFadden asks, I'm looking to turn new boys, so the monopose boys, 10 in a box, into commandos. What are suggested proxies for Brahm Squigs and Distraction Grot? Good question. What I've done personally is I went to the section of my store and I picked up the box of Squig Herd and just bought one because that gave me either 10 or 12 squigs to use for all of my various bomb squigs. It's a little buried, but down there somewhere, I have a box, but it's from Age of Sigmar. It's just called Squig Herd. It has two grots in it, although only one has legs. You're gonna have to come up with legs or a wheel or something for one of them that you can use as distraction grots. One has a bagpipe made out of a squig. The other one has a pair of cymbals. So those guys are awesome. And then you get either 10 or 12 squigs, and it's a super, super, super cheap box. So yeah, that's a good start for you. And then as far as turning them into bomb squigs, all of those random stick bombs you got laying around, grenades from your beakies, basically, tank busted bombs, anything that looks explosive, just glue it to them and then glue some string around them, and it totally works. That's how you make bomb squigs. As far as more distraction grots goes, um, I really like the Warhammer Underworlds grots. There was this one set that had a grot with another grot on his shoulders with an axe. I replaced the axe with a power sword, the chainsword one. On point, perfect distraction grot. But yeah, there's the one that has the really big captain guy that makes the world's most epic bad rut conversion. That one comes with a monkey, which I don't know, monkey grot, close enough. But it also comes with three grots. There's like one with a giant like bear trap. There's one with like a pirate chest. Like, I don't know, they're really cool grots. So all of these random grots that come in these other kits, I like grabbing those and stealing those and using those as my distraction grots. All right. Let's see. What else we done? Shady Stinks wants to know if I have any new ideas for my Every Kit is an Orc Kit series. Aha! Yes. First of all, for those of you that don't know, the Every Kit is an Orc Kit series is my most favorite series and probably my best. But we've done 3 so far where we built things. The first one was the Drukari or Dark Eldar Raider into a Chinork Warcopter. And I recently finally finished that conversion. I had to do one little change to it and then add a grot to it and then painted it. That just came out a couple of weeks ago. I painted that right before my 3rd surgery. That one turned out great. You can now see that model in person at Mindtaker Miniatures. Also, the second one, which was the Tyrannid Winged Prime, I turned that into the Nabot Smasher Squig. We painted that one in the video, so it didn't need a second one. The third one was this. That was the turning the Nemesis Dread Knight into a kill rig. I just got this back from Mindtaker Miniatures. I'm going to finish converting this because I did build this right after my wrist was broken. So it's missing all the fun little greebly bits that you really need. And it needs like super, like mold lines scraped, finished off, gaps filled, things like that. So I got to do all that to this, and then I will be painting this. So you will get a paint like finish conversion and painting video to add to that series very, very, very soon. As far as the next one goes, um, I don't have a kit for it yet because, again, the whole idea is I don't know what the kit is, but we are definitely planning on doing them. I know that Mindtaker is working on a horde of things for me to use for that. The one thing that we've talked about though is because they keep, I mean, obviously they do use trade and stuff. They keep getting really cool stuff. They're like, oh, this would be great, but it's not something you could actually buy right now. Like it's discontinued. So definitely trying to lean toward more doing things that you can get right now, even if they're not the newest kit, the most popular kit. The whole idea is that you could copy this if you wanted to. But yes, there are definitely more coming on that series. Let's see. Calvin Ryder says heard IG were getting a half track. Dude, if IG get a half track, I might actually go back to Imperial Guard. Jojo got 4 grots. I feel you. I got 4 of them too. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. Commander says get a squishy dog ball. Oh, okay. I'll have to get a squishy ball and squeeze it. I can't just squeeze a grot. That's what I normally do. Grots and half track framer scout. Nice. Keystep asks, is 40K being more streamlined to feel more like Kill Team Combat Patrol? Yes. It's not just that Kill Team and Combat Patrol are porting over to 40K, it's that 40K is getting much more streamlined. That is like the number one complaint for people. The game is way too confusing and it takes way too long to play. So anything they can do, I mean, just look at the popularity of one-page rules and all of the other alternative ways to play 40K, like the number of YouTube channels that are playing third edition and fourth edition and stuff like that. Then you've got like whole games like Trench Crusade coming out based on the like Van Games Workshop can't write a rule to save their life. Yeah, like they really, 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 really need to streamline it. So, oh hey, Larry Smith wants to know about the Eye of the Storm campaign. So no, the campaigns are yes and no, not a big deal. So you said you're new to 40K. How this works is 40K goes through editions. In an edition, they get a new rule book for the base game, and then every single army gets a new rule book called a codex. When they're all done with all the codexes, before they launch the next edition of the game, they have an end narrative campaign for the edition. Sometimes they're short, like one book. Sometimes they're a whole series, like 6 or 8 books. I think in this one, we're either getting 4 or 5 sets of books. But the books are really cool because the books often have a ton of lore in them that is brand new to the series that actually moves the 40K narrative along. They also have like alternative rule sets that are really awesome. So things like boarding actions, the Psychic Awakening series, and then now in this the new set we have Maelstrom just came out that has like build your own commander rules, and then this new Eye of Terror one has apocalypse style rules. None of these are things that you actually need. They are just alternative ways to play the game. Um, they're usually a lot of fun, but they're usually here and gone in an instant. And then they tend to not stick around. So if it's something that you really want, go ahead and pick it up. If it's not something that you're dying to have, you could totally skip these books. They're not going to make it to competitive play. And by the time you actually get the rules and find somebody to play a game with you, like the next book has come out. Like Maelstrom hasn't even been shipped yet. Like you cannot physically pick it up from your store yet. And they've already announced the next book. And they've all been like that. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. But of all the books, like I would personally rather buy these books than the codexes. The codexes have been such garbage lately. They're just a paywall for the code inside the codex to use Games Workshop's own online army builder thing. Whereas these narrative campaign books, even when the next edition comes out, you can always take these books out and actually play the games in them and use them as intended. I have all of my old campaign books. Even when I sold out of Warhammer and got out of it for a few editions and a few decades, not decades, but like around a decade total, I never got rid of my campaign books. Campaign books are just so much fun to own and read. They usually have excellent artwork and photographs in them. Like if you were going to spend your money on anything from Games Workshop, especially anything book or rules wise, to me personally, they're the best thing. But it's not like some FOMO, gotta have it. They're the best rules, whatever. Like, just if you want it, get it. If you don't, you're not missing anything. Nandaka wants to know if I have any suggestions for Storm Boys Kit Bash. Yes, loot everybody else's jump packs. Go find yourself a Beaky jump pack, and a Tau drone, and a Caradron Overlords floaty balloon backpack, a set of Drukari wings, whatever you need. Go loot a bunch of things. Alternatively, there's a bunch of rockets and missiles and things in the DACA jet. Makes it super easy to strap on to a bunch of boys and create some Storm Boys. All right. Real CJ wants to know if I think Psychic Phase is coming back in 11th. Ooh, I don't know, but I hope it does. Because if it does, that would be good. That would be really good. I miss it being a phase. Do. Dirt Hermit says if they made 2 sets of Mega Knob assets for Dawn of War 4, and the new Mega Knobs drop, the launch and update with the second set of assets based on the new models. I mean, that is potential. But even Space Marine 2, they didn't redo an asset on anything they already did. They gave you new assets. They gave you, like a Black Templar or a Space Wolf instead of an Ultramarine, but they have not redone any assets, including things that have since come out as new models. This is pretty standard for Games Workshop. So let's see. Just give me an orc vehicle upgrade sprue with every kit. Commander HHL, when I am Emperor of Earth, that is the first thing I will do. Yes, 2005 was 5 years ago. Jesus. We're not counting years. We're not counting years. Yeah, Morthotron, I'm with you. 4th and 5th were the least complicated. To me, 4th, honestly, like looking back at it, I think I had the most fun in 4th. I think that game was just so streamlined and so fun to play and so easy to pick up, but was also like really complicated with the like you could make it as complicated as you want with like the mission or building your army, but not the actual gameplay. And that's the kind of 40K I really miss. If I ever thought about using Titanicus models for kit bashing, I have. The scale is way wrong. It doesn't work. And I don't just mean like, oh, they're too small. And people are like, well, you pick up a bunch of Titans, turn them into Meganobs. No, they're too skinny. The proportions are all wrong. And then even if you get the proportions right, the detail is the wrong size. Because I've looked at like picking up the Adeptus Fly Canicus, whatever the heck the name of that game was, Aeronautica Imperialis, before they made it all Horsey Heresy. They had a whole orc range, right? I'm like, oh, I could pick those DACA jets up and stuff really, really cheap on the secondhand market and turn them into Grot bombs or Grot flyers. It does not work at all, my friend. It is the wrong scale. It doesn't work. Hey, Istathar, got your Maelstrom book. Excellent. Jojo, hoping to get 11th edition Armageddon set to start 40K orcs. What else should I aim for? Want to try to get ready? I would get ready by buying the things that you want now that are out now and getting them built and painted before Armageddon hits. I often recommend the current combat patrol because the combat patrol is always guaranteed to change, and it is one of the only ways to get discount work kits or discount kits for anything. And personally, I think it's a really cool one. You do get Squig Hog Boys with the knob on Smash the Squig. You get Beast Naga Boys and the Beast Boss on Foot. He's not my favorite model, to be honest, but again, super cheap set. Calvin, almost midnight, taking off. Yeah, we're into a minute into overtime, so I'm gonna catch up with whatever here on the chat. Super needs to call out to me, and then we're gonna call it here too. And Dak wants to know, do I think 40K Spearhead will be good? I'm hopeful, but doubtful. I've heard that the guy that actually wrote the Spearhead rules no longer works for Games Workshop, and that worries me. And talking with people that are super into Spearhead and they talk about how it balances, and then looking at the new combat patrols that are just the standardized format, I don't think bodes very well. So I am optimistic on the outside, but cautiously like preparing for the worst on the inside. we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Istithar is right there. The Crusade books that have come out this edition have all been excellent. So who knows? Maybe, just maybe, Games Workshop finally figured out how to write a rule, and it could be pretty good. McFadden, we have an orc vehicle upgrade sprue. It's called the Truck Kit. You are not wrong. Shady Snakes, Metal Gorka Morka Tag. What is that? What is the Metal Gorka Morka Tag? I have not heard of this. And yes, Nindaka orcs need to have more fluffy rules back. I think my orc truck video will outlast us all. I sure hope so. Oh, the guy who wrote Spirit has his own YouTube channel. I should go hunt him out. So anybody's got the link, throw it in the comments. All right, guys, this is your last chance to get anything in before we end it for the night on this Monday night hobby hangout. All right, here we go. Last chance. Sam Pearson Games Design. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. That was very good. SNGWN has 50-ish boys and 30 more boys on sprue. Do you think building them now is a good idea? No. Save your boys on sprue. Commander, thank you for the membership. Much appreciated. Hey, and you got it to JoJo. Excellent. Talk about someone who deserved it. Yeah, do not build any regular boys, regular knobs, trucks, met guns, or killicans that you own right now. I'm telling you, do not build them. You'll want to have them around. Don't get rid of them. You're going to want them for kit bashing. But until we get the new models and the new rules and the new build outs, I would not build them because you're going to wish that you had them new on sprue so that you could figure out what you need to do for your army. Ah, Shady Snakes, special metal tags that were only for tournament winners. Very, very nice. T the Hut, which orc vehicles do you think are getting the axe for 11th? None. We are not losing any vehicles. We are gaining vehicles. Orcs are getting War Track back. We may get a looted vehicle back. We may get War Boss on Warbike back. We are not losing any vehicles. All of our vehicles are staying. All the buggies are too new. Battle Wagon is excellent. Truck is getting redone, but we are keeping the truck. We are not losing any vehicles. So yeah, whatever vehicles you got, you're good to go. Larry Smith, too late. I'll get more. Yeah, just get more. Just get more. I have a personal stash going of all of these orc kits new on the sprue or in the box or whatever that I'm just not building so that I have them for next edition. Trust me. Jojo wants me to make an orc video about my orc army and what it does. As a new player, very interested. I actually did a video on my orc army in October of 2025. If you go to my channel's main homepage, there are playlists. Go to the Orctober playlist and you will find that video. I did two actually. I did one at the start of October of everything that I owned, and then I did another one at the end of October of everything new I added in October. So if you watch those two videos, it will give you everything you need to know. All right, guys, camera is overheating on me. I got to call this one. Appreciate all of you so very much for hanging out with me this Monday night for our live stream and hobby hangout. You guys are the absolute best. All the gift memberships and all the new members are really awesome. You guys truly, from the bottom of my heart, I love all of the support. I love all you guys. This has been amazing. Love doing this every Monday. Again, if you are a channel member or a Patreon and you want to get those behind the scenes things, DM me on Discord and I will add you to the members only chat, or go check out Patreon. If you're on Patreon, you can go read the post there. It'll get you all the behind the scenes things you need to know. And if you're really interested in that, make sure you get yourself a membership and go. And hey, thank you to the Hut, the last second membership going to BC. Again, another well-deserved one. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Until next time. Walk on! Maybe not logging on. What do I do? See you guys later.